On this edition of DockSide TV, we're talking transitional periods. That time of the year, around September and October, where the fish are moving from out of the Biloxi Marsh in that area, moving back into Lake Pontchartrain following the white shrimp. So today we're going to be throwing the matrix shad, and we're targeting speckled trout, redfish, and flounder. We got some reports that are hitting on the north end of the lake, so we're going to make a quick run and see if we can pick a few up.
Throwback red. We just had Tropical Storm Lee come through, push a lot of salt water into some unconventional places around Lake Pontchartrain, and we're just fishing some of the bayous on the northern end of the lake. See what happens. Right now we're just at the mouth of a bayou catching flounder, and what I'm using here is, this is called the Midnight Mullet. It's like a dark open and night color, and the matrix shad, and I got it on a 5/16 ounce golden eye jig head, and we just bounce it on the bottom. Tide's coming in real good. After I get done working the mouth of this bayou, I'm gonna start coming into it and jigging it off the slope.
What we're doing here, oh, another nice little box, is fishing all of the bayous and cuts on the north end of the lake. What's happening is we got a strong incoming tide right now, and it's pushing a lot of mullet, pogies, and white shrimp back into the lake, right? So what we're finding in the mouth of these cuts, you're finding some quality trout like this in the mouth of these cuts. And then on a falling tide, it's going to be the same way. When it's pulling all of the bait out of the canals, these fish will line up in the mouth of these canals and just feed and gorge themselves to death, getting ready for that October run. And you can use shrimp, you know, down at DockSide Bait and Tackle, we do have, you know, abundance of live shrimp, you know. But right now what we're throwing is the matrix shad. You know, we got some new colors that the colors that just came in production, you know. So we're right now we're just throwing plastic right now, you know. We're whopping some trout on plastic. So, you know, at the show that we have next weekend, we're going to have some of these new baits out. So make sure you stop by the booth and pick up some of these new matrix shads we got coming out.
All you really want to do right now when you're fishing lures, covering bayous, shoreline, stuff like that, is you just keep that trolling motor down and just keep covering ground, cover water, find bait. Once you find bait, you're gonna get some activity, get some bites, and once you get a few bites, you're just gonna want to start milking the area. But until you start getting bite after bite after bite, just keep the trolling motor down and just go. Cover as much ground as you can, because the whole trick is to eliminate as much dead water as you possibly can till you find the fertile areas where the fish and bait are.
That east wind's kicking up, which is a good thing. It's pushing a lot of salt water in the lake right now. And we're fishing up the shoreline. It's actually trying to push us up into the shoreline. So, you know, rule of thumb, you know, you got to try to keep off of that shoreline and fish it there. So don't get too excited when you find them like this, trying to fish one of these shorelines like this. And all we doing is locating bait. That's the primary thing. Once you locate the bait in the area, you know, the fish are going to be there, because that's all, it's following the bait, and that's all he's doing, you know. And we're just drifting down the bank with a matrix shad and popping a few. All right, what I was saying earlier We're fishing a big shallow flat. So right now I'm using a 5/16 ounce jig head, something fairly light that it's not, that can basically work it off the bottom. And basically what I'm doing is taking and casting out, letting it hit the bottom. And what I'm doing is I'm giving it about 3 good jerks to bring that bait up off the bottom. And as it's falling, that tail is flapping down. And what that does is it triggers a strike for those trout that's feeding on these pogies and shrimp that's sitting in here right now. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna try to get back in this flat, in this little cove here, see how far we can push into it and pop some of those shrimp. And if you notice, when I'm making my cast, I'm letting it count down until I see the slack keep getting to my line. Once I see the slack in my line, then I know that the bait's hit the bottom. Then you'll see me pop it, maybe fairly 2 or 3 times, various speeds, you know, pop it, just to try to trigger that bite. Oh, there he is. Red. All right, I'll give you a little example about what we're fishing right now. We're fishing, like I said earlier, we're fishing a lot of these cuts and drains that's dumping back into Lake Pontchartrain on the north end. It's low quality red. The water we're fishing is only about 2 or 3 feet deep, okay? Right now these fish are pushed up on this shelf where the water's about 2 or 3 feet and there's a lot of rocks here, a lot of pilings here. You know, you'll lose a couple of jig heads by fishing it, but the fish are back up in there. I mean, they're chasing bait, they're chasing live shrimp right now. Something good you could probably throw right now is a popper cork with a matrix shad underneath it, and you'd probably, you know, get on them. But I mean, there's tons of fish that's just back up against this shelf and along this ridge that's just following bait constantly. You know, if you can get your lure in there without getting hung up, you'll probably pop a few. Shoreline right here, and it's full of mullet and pogies. There's actually some nice fish on the shoreline. In the back, I'm actually throwing the matrix shad up on a shallow flat, and right now we're just drifting a bank with a shallow flat, and we're popping some beautiful fish right now. You know, all on the matrix shad. If you guys get a chance this weekend, stop by DockSide Bait and Tackle, or come over to the Sportsman Show over in Slidell, over at the auditorium over there, and we'll have a booth set up, and you can pick you up some of these matrix shad. Put up some quality fish like this in the box.
Oh. Well, we came up the bayou now, up towards more of the fresher water. Chris has got a trout. As you can see, we're catching bass, trout, redfish, flounder.
Another one for the box. Well, we actually were fishing out in the mouth of the bayou. Now we actually kind of moved into the bayou to try to get out of the wind. But we got a strong incoming tide and it's pushing in. And basically what it's doing is it's forcing that bait to come back into the back of this canal on this east wind. And all we're doing is just following the bait just like the fish are. I mean, it's, you know, we got a 15, 20 trout so far, you know, and it's pretty good. You know, all on the matrix shad, you know, the little lemon head right here, you know, 3/8 ounce jig head. We're using 5/16 ounce jig head also. I mean, it just varies, you know, I mean, but when working these canals like this, you want to hit the shoreline, hit the little cuts to canals, fish out in the deep water, you know, look for certain structure, you know, rocks that's pushed up against the bank or whatnot. You want to target stuff like that, and those will tend to hold fish.
Tropical storm Lee is going. The effects of the spillway are over. We're in some areas that are so close to the boat launch. You don't burn any gas. Just fishing plastic lures. Catching trout between 12 and 14 inches. Plenty. We just had a double hookup. The cameraman had one, missed one. It was almost a triple hookup. You can't beat this right now. Come down and see us at DockSide Bait and Tackle. It's the end of September. This fishing action is going to be spectacular all the way through December and maybe into the winter. We just have to see. So come see us or check out our website at www.docksidela.com.